Hey all, just real value here. Today we're going to talk about how to protect yourself from a bank run or a collapse. You know, with recent news of the banks facing financial difficulties and a potential bank run, it's important to know how to safeguard your life savings. So what would you do if you woke up one day and you were unable to access your money? Or even worse, you lost the bulk of your money to a bank where you thought your money was safe, it was protected, it was there for you when you needed it. Well, in this video, we're going to cover some steps you can take before and after a collapse to minimize risk to your finances. So let's start by smashing up the like button, hit subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. First, what's a bank run? Well, a bank run happens when many people rush to take their money out of a bank all at once because they're afraid that the bank might fail or it might collapse and then they're going to lose all of their money. And this can cause the bank to run out of money and collapse, which means it can't pay back the people who deposited their money, which is eventually would be you and I. So when the bank collapses, it can be very bad for the economy because when one bank fails, then consumers look and say, I'm afraid, let me get my money out of my bank, and then another bank fails, and it goes on, and that causes a recession. See, bank collapses can happen for many reasons. It could be bad investments, it could be loans, or just because people lose confidence in the bank. Bank runs or collapses happen mostly in other countries, but we're starting to see it happen here in the US. Think about this. Silvergate and Silicon Valley Bank both collapsed in March 2023 alone, and more can be on the horizon. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed in 48 hours. So how can you protect yourself now before a potential collapse and after if a bank run does happen to your banking institution? Well, we're going to discuss 10 tips to plan for a banking collapse and 6 steps that you can follow after a bank run or a collapse. So let's start with the 10 tips that can help you prepare in case of an emergency. Number 1, get cash. Get it. Get your cash. Get some cash out of the bank. I'll say it again, get cash. Yeah, in the event of a bank run, it may be difficult to withdraw money from your account. So you want to keep some cash on hand in case of an emergency. And that's up to you, how much you want to keep. But having that money on hand, it'll help you with those immediate needs until you're able to access your money. This can help you weather that storm if a bank run or a financial crisis were to hit. And here's some tips for getting cash out that we want to call ahead. Depending on how much money we want to take out, banks don't typically have a lot of money in their branches. So if we do want to take out a few thousand, let's call ahead so that they could be ready for that withdrawal. Also, they're going to ask, what's the reason for the cash withdrawal? You could tell them it's personal reasons or emergencies or you want to pay some bills, but they're going to ask for a reason. Interesting, it's your money, but they want a reason why you're taking it out. Go figure. And then another tip that we can keep in mind is we want to keep the withdrawals under $10,000. Otherwise, you'll have to fill out a form, and the government does that just to show that there's no money laundering. So keep it in up to $9,000. If you want, you can take out more money over multiple days, but it's easier to take out money under $10,000. Number 2, diversified banks. Spread your deposit across multiple banks. You know, you've heard the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your money in one bank. You spread it within a few different banks. And the reason for this is simple. If one of the banks have an issue, have a failure, have a crisis, you have another bank to fall on. Give you a reason of what happened to me years ago. My paycheck was deposited. There was a problem with the paycheck. They actually gave me, I think it was 100 times more than I was supposed to get. So they deposited my paycheck, and then they noticed the issue and they tried to withdraw it twice. And they didn't have enough money in the account So they froze my bank, entire bank. And I was going away that weekend to Europe. So I needed money. Thankfully, I had another banking institution that I can pull cash out of to go away. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. So again, we want to spread our funds over multiple banks. And another reason is because of FDIC insurance. It's per depositor, per bank, which we'll talk about for the next point. Takes us to point number 3. Check the FDIC insurance. Make sure your bank that you're depositing your funds with has FDIC insurance on that bank. This means that your deposits are insured up to a certain amount. And at current rates, it's $250,000 per depositor, per bank. If we have more than that, we might want to spread it up into multiple banks so that each of our $250K is insured within these multiple banks. Point number 4, contact your bank. Have a relationship with them. You're giving them your money, you're depositing your money. If you have any questions or concerns, reach out to your bank for guidance. They may be able to give us some helpful advice or assistance, and it would be better to reach out to them before a crisis than during a crisis. Number 5, monitor your bank account. Yes, this is a given. We should regularly monitor our account, our activity, our balances to ensure that there's no unauthorized transactions or discrepancies. It just makes sense. This we should be doing at all times. And of course, if we are at that FDIC limit of $250,000, just keep an eye on it, because if we go over, we might want to move those funds to another bank. Number 6, be alert. Monitor news and announcements. Consumers, we should be informed about anything related to our bank, any changes in management and leadership, the financial performance of it. Think about it. We're investing in that institution. This could help make us make the right decisions about our banking relationship. Keep up to date on the financial news, the health of our bank, because if something's going wrong, we might want to get out. Remember, we're partnering with our bank. Number 7, diversify your investments. Don't put all your money into one investment class or asset class. Consider spreading your investment across different types of assets, such as stocks, bonds, and real estate. That's just a given, but we still want to plan for that ahead of time. Number 8, maintain good credit. Why would we want to do this and plan for this ahead of time? Because if we maintain good credit now, it can help us qualify for loans or credit lines in the event of a financial crisis. Think about it. We can always tap into that source of credit, those funds, if we needed it temporarily to get us over that hump during an emergency. Number 9, keep documents safe. Make copies of all your important financial documents, such as your bank statements, your tax returns, investment records, and make sure that they're in a safe, secure place. And number 10, be prepared. Be prepared for an emergency. So you have a plan in place for emergencies such as a natural disaster, personal financial crisis. This can include having a backup source of income, maybe establishing credit, as we discussed, or a side hustle or part-time job that we'll be discussing on this channel. So there you have it. There's 10 tips that we can plan for a financial crisis or bank run on our bank. But now, what about after? What about if something happened to our bank, there was a bank run or there's a crisis on our banking institution? What can we do then? Well, there's 6 steps that we can plan for. Number 1, don't panic. See, if your bank does fail, try to remain calm. I know it's going to be difficult. I know it's going to be hard. Just try not to panic. I know your wife wants to go out and buy some clothes or go on a vacation, but remember that your deposits are likely insured up to a certain point. If you followed our tips, our planning, we're good on that front. $250,000. Number 2, move your money. If your bank does fail, consider moving your deposits to another FDIC-insured bank. By this point, you should have multiple banks set up. Withdraw that money and send it over as soon as possible. And then number 3, contact the FDIC. If your bank does fail, contact the FDIC to find out how to access your insured funds. Here's the phone number: 1-877-ASK-FDIC. Or of course, visit fdic.gov. Number 4, stay informed. Keep up to date on the status of the bank and any developments of the situation. Look on the news, find out what's happening to your bank. Go there in person. Any changes in leadership, we want to be aware of what's going on so that we can make informed decisions and pull our money out if we need to. Review your investments. If you have any investments with the failed bank, review them to determine if they're still worth holding or if you should sell them. Again, this might mean withdrawing our funds or transferring them to another institution. Number 5, use credit. See, during a crisis, it may be more difficult for consumers to access their funds through a debit card or getting cash out of the bank. So we may want to consider using credit cards for purchases and then just pay them off each month to avoid interest charges. And number 6, seek advice. See, if you're unsure about how to proceed, seek professional advice from a financial planner, maybe a professional. They can offer guidance tailored to your specific situation. And one bonus tip: hit the subscribe and like button and share this video with others to be informed of other financial planning tips. There you have it. 10 tips to plan for a banking collapse and 6 steps to take if your bank experiences a bank run or a collapse. Thank you for watching this video on how to protect yourself from a bank run or a bank collapse by diversifying your deposits, checking FDIC insurance coverage, keeping an eye on bank health, and being prepared for a bank run. You can minimize your risk and safeguard your money. But remember to stay informed and proactive in managing your finances. And if you have any other tips or questions, please share them in the comments below and I'll be sure to respond. Thanks, and you have a great day.